So I'm currently working on a challenge where for 30 days I take 10,000 steps per day and see what my results are. So while doing this challenge, I thought, what would happen if I just did 10,000 steps straight to see what I could get out of the results, as well as kind of get those 10,000 steps done in one go. The ultimate goal was to see how long 10,000 steps would take to accomplish, as well as the total distance it would take me to complete 10,000 steps. For this challenge, I was walking two smaller dogs, so I did have a few stops along the way that might slow me down a little bit, but overall they didn't take too many breaks, and I felt like I kept a solid pace throughout the 10,000 steps. Also, to track the 10,000 steps and the distance as well as time, I am using the Fitbit Charge 4, which does have GPS tracking. So with that said, let's jump into the results. Alright, let's jump into my computer and take a look at the stats in regards to my walking. So if you look here, we are looking at the Fitbit dashboard, and this was the walk again I did on May 23rd. Looks like it started around 10:07 a.m. You can see I traveled a total of 5 miles on this walk, again with the goal of reaching 10,000 steps. Took me 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 20 seconds with a 17-minute, 53-mile pace, and a beats per minute of 109 for heart rate with 914 calories total. So that is my entire walk. And again, I was doing this with my dogs, so it might have been a little slower, but overall, that is what took me to reach 10,000 steps. So you can see that we have some of my stats again down here. Elevation change of 335 feet. Again, the average heart rate 109. And calories burned per minute were around 10 throughout the entire walk. So again, the impact was 10,000 steps added, 914 calories burned, and 89 active minutes. So here is the exact path I took and tracked using the Fitbit Charge 4. And as you can see, I almost made it back home, but when I reached 10,000 steps, I was a little bit from reaching my house. So if we look at the splits here, you can see my first pace, 17:38, 18, 19:24, 17:07, 17:14. So that's it for the entire walk here again. So I decided after this to take a look at what it would be like if I actually ran the exact same path to see what the differences would be with something like steps, total time it'd take me, total calories burned, that kind of stuff, just to compare with my running versus walking. So let's jump into that and go back a page. So that would be this run I did here on the 24th. So if we view this, it takes a little bit to load, but look at the difference here. We had only 4.69 miles. What's up with that? This again was the exact same route that I took when I did my walk. So that is a little interesting to see. 0.31 miles difference. That's not very good in my opinion. So we'll go with the stats here. We had 4.69 miles, 42.55, which is actually a pretty good increase. So I think that was around a 52% change in terms of the total time it took me to complete it. A 9:09 mile pace with 162 beats per minute being the high, which is quite a bit higher than my other one, but only 712 calories burned for the same exact distance, which is very interesting. Now, if I ran for an hour and 29 minutes, like I did for my walk, that would burn a lot more calories in the end. It would actually, if you do out the math, I think it comes out around 1,500 calories. I actually have 1,513 calories if I actually did run for an hour and 29 minutes. So that's a big difference. So just note that if you run the same amount as you walk, yes, it's going to be shorter, but you actually might burn less calories in the end, which to me is kind of interesting. Now, you could do something like you could raise the intensity. So if you're running a lot harder than you're walking, I could increase the calorie burn that way. So if I had sped up quite a bit in this and it was really testing me, that I could have probably burned more calories in the end. But again, that's raising your intensity, and that's not what I was going for here. It's more to see if I could just do a normal jogging pace. I don't run 5 miles that very often, or really at all. I really just stick to 5Ks if I do any running. But again, I was doing a little test here to see what would happen. So again, 909 mile pace. The elevation change here is different as well. What's up with that? It wasn't like 300 before. So how is that different? These are some things I've been picking up with the Fitbit Charge 4 to go into my final review at the end of the month or so I do for my normal testing. We had a heart rate change of 162 and 17 calories burned per minute. So again, we had more calories burned per minute. I think it was 10 calories per minute when I did my walking. Now we're looking at as 17. So again, if I ran for an hour and almost a half, I would have been burning 17 calories per minute, which would have ended up being way, way more than if I was doing my walking. So I just want to jump into my computer here, show you some of the stuff. Here again, splits, 827, 919. So not the best in terms of what I've ever done in the past. But as I have had around 730 is where I did my best splits for like a mile before. So that's pretty bad compared to the best I've ever had. But again, I don't run a lot anymore. So that's probably why it's so high. Anyway, this was just taking a look at the stats just so you could see the exact information I have from my Fitbit tracker and how it was a bit off when looking at this overall. Because I had such a big discrepancy, I decided to go to Google Maps to see what they say the total distance was, and I mapped it all out by hand, and here's what we got. So when mapping it out by hand, Google shows us that this was actually 4.6 miles, so it's actually closer to my running distance than it was my walking, which is pretty interesting. So I guess if you're maybe jogging it, it's able to keep up a better pace overall. Again, with my dogs, I was taking some stops, not that many, but maybe it kept it going a little bit, even though I wasn't really walking around with my dogs, but maybe somehow it tracked in a little bit extra there. I'm not sure how. But again, it was showing, even though I took the exact same path, a little further in the walking than the running. So to kind of finish things up, I feel way more tired after running that distance. Even though I cut the time by more than half, I still feel like I am way more tired afterwards. I was, of course, much sweatier. It was actually cooler during my run than my walk. I think when I started the walk, it was already over 90 degrees here in Texas. Or when I started my run this morning, it was only around 78 to 80 degrees. So it was actually quite a bit cooler starting my run. They ended about the same temperature in the mid-90s. But anyway, just so you know, it was a little different in terms of temperature when doing one versus the other. And to finish things off, I was pretty disappointed with the Fitbit Charge 4 and seeing that 0.31 difference in the total distance covered. So that will definitely go into my final review coming up in a few weeks. But just know, overall, I've actually really liked the Fitbit Charge 4. It's great at tracking steps, just so you know, a little sneak peek into that review. I've been trying to figure out if it's off every day. I wake up with maybe a couple steps taken, no more than, I'd say, 20 when just sleeping. But when I do something like actually walking and tracking it, I can actually count with it. And it's very good at knowing when I stop, when I go, all those things. So as a step counter so far, it has been excellent in my opinion. And with that said, I'm not going to spoil any more of the Fitbit Charge 4. But anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you did like it. If you did, again, please like and subscribe to GamerBody for more videos just like this one. Also, make sure to head over to GamerBody.com. There you can check out my current training program, the equipment I'm using, and any other resources I am using in order to build muscle and confidence from the comfort of home. And that's it. So again, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Be fit and game on.